Hey, what's up, guys? This is Emphasis from Ravens Over Everything, and I am back with another video. Like, this video is just a quick recap of the Ravens versus Chargers game, which the Ravens won handily, 34-6. I didn't think it was gonna play out that way. I thought it was gonna be. I still thought the Ravens could win, even though I was wrong. Cause in the off season, when I was predicting the record, I actually thought the Ravens were gonna lose this game. But in the days leading up to it, I actually changed my mind, and I thought they would win, and they ended up winning. They ended up pulling it out really easily. This was the first win this year so far, where it felt like it was a complete team win. I know some people might say the Broncos game, but this game felt like a complete team win. In that Broncos game, they did, offense, they did a solid job. Defense did a solid job, but there was a lot of tackling problems. In this game, I don't really remember that many tackling problems at all, really. The defense was tackling. They got a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. Justin Houston and Deshaun Elliott both got sacks. Deshaun Elliott got his first career interception, and it was an impressive interception too. I forgot who the receiver was on the Chargers. He was defending, but he just snatched it out of their hand. It was really fun to watch. So this game felt like a complete game offensively, and this, it was a very satisfying game from a team standpoint, because we're 6 games into the season so far, and this was actually the first game where Lamar didn't have to carry the load and drag us to a win, so many other people on different sides of the ball actually stepped up, which makes, to me, is very exciting. I think a lot of Ravens fans should be very optimistic, because now you gotta imagine if the team can step up like this when Lamar has an average to an okay game, and if at the same time if they could step up like this all the time, and while Lamar plays lights out like he's been playing in the 5 games leading up to this, again, we would go, this would be like the 2019 season on steroids. We would be easily winning a lot of these games by 40, easily. We just went up against a Chargers team that a lot of people were, prior to yesterday, a lot of people were saying this team was a Super Bowl contender. They said this team was the best in the AFC, or top 2, maybe top 3. A lot of people were saying that Justin Herbert's going to be an MVP, which could that could still happen. He could still win an MVP, but I don't know. But still, for us to go up against such a high powered offense, Justin Herbert on the season before yesterday, he was averaging 315 yards a game. Before the Chargers played us yesterday, they were 7 for 8. When they go for it on 4th down, they were starting to build a reputation as being a team that is just constantly taking those risks and going for it on 4th down, which that ended up biting them, in the butt pretty badly in this game, because they went for it 4 times and they only got it once, which actually, I had to go back and see the one that they got, because I actually thought they were 0 for 4, but apparently they're 1 for 4 when they went up against us, which is still bad, obviously, especially one that comes to mind where they were 4th and 2, I think, either 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, but they were on their own 19-yard line. and they threw it, and I believe Justin Herbert threw it to a receiver that was being guarded by Marlon Humphrey, and the pass just wasn't completed. So that was really exciting that we were able to really shut down such a not only a high powered offense, but a high powered offense that likes to gamble. Because that's exactly what they do when they're going for it this many times on 4th down. They like to take those type of risks, and we did a good job of really just shutting that down. So Austin Eckler, was somebody I was expecting to really come out and make a bigger impact than he did. He did not. He had 6 carries for 7 yards, only averaging 1.2 yards a carry. He caught 4 catches for 48 yards. So he had a pretty terrible game, like a pretty mediocre game. Keenan Allen, one of their leading receivers, only had 5 catches for 50 yards. Mike Williams had 2 catches for 27 yards, and I think he might have gotten injured. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Jared Cook had 4 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown, and that was their only touchdown of the day. They missed their kicker missed the extra point, which man, it's been a really if your name's not Justin Tucker, it's been a really bad couple of weeks for kickers, man. Like it and to be fair, it was really windy yesterday. Like when I checked the weather, like for the game, like it was pretty windy in the bank. So that plays a role. That probably played a role not only in some of the Chargers mistakes, but also a few of the things that kind of went wrong for the Ravens. So I mean, as far as offense for the Ravens go, Lamar had a decent game. He was 19 for 27, so he completed 70% of his passes. He only averaged about 6.2 yards a pass this game, which compared to what he's done all this season, again, it was pretty low because of what he's been doing overall this season. He was leading the league in yards per completion, but then he threw a touchdown, but then he could have had 2 touchdowns, but Hollywood dropped one. Man, I do think we're going up against the Bengals next week. I do think all these plays, I do think offensively, specifically the passing game, I think is going to have a really good bounce back next week against the Bengals, but we'll focus on that later. But Lamar, he was 19 for 27, 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. One of those picks was his fault. Like, one of those picks was just a really bad and it was just a really bad decision by Lamar. Like, I don't know what he was thinking, but like he literally just threw it right to the guy. It was very weird. I'm assuming he just didn't see the guy. Like, sometimes you just, when you're looking at a specific spot, you might have tunnel vision and you miss a bunch of things. But yeah, that was a really bad throw. But that second interception, that was not his fault, man. Like, Rashad Bateman just let that thing slip out of his hands, and the defender on the Chargers, he just made an excellent catch to get the interception, which that sucks for us, but it is what it is. Man, I almost forgot to mention, man, like there was one catch that Rashad had on 1st and 10 where Lamar threw it to him, and he did this, like, really, it wasn't a big play. Obviously it was I think a 10-yard gain, but he hit the defender with this little spin move, man. Like, I am excited to see Rashad, and I want to see what Rashad could do to end this season off. Obviously he missed the first 6 games, but man, if he's making highlights like that already, and he's this is literally just like his first game in coming off of surgery, man, I'm excited to see what happens with that. But again, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on everything. Our running backs, we're still doing the running back by committee thing. Like, it went a lot better today. Devontae Freeman had 53 yards, averaging 5.9 yards a carry and a touchdown. Latavius Murray had 9 carries for 44 yards, averaging 4.9 yards per carry and a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell had 18 yards, which it's not too great, but still he had a touchdown. Devin Duvernay got in on the rushing attack. He had 1 rush for 11 yards. Tyler Huntley, who came in at the later part of the game once we already were finished, he rushed for 10 yards. So our rushing attack has 187 yards. So it seems like they kind of bounced back from, obviously, as we all know, last week against the Colts, they, that was the first time in over 3 years where the Ravens did not have 100+ yards rushing. But again, it didn't really matter. Nobody really cared about that record that much. But it is what it is. So our running backs had a good day today. I really, really wish Tyson Williams would get a fair chance because he's clearly the best running option they have. But I don't know, man. I guess they just don't care about the guys. Too. It makes me feel bad that you have this young guy who's undrafted and looks like he might be a serious gem on your roster, and you're just kind of tossing him to the side in exchange for a bunch of, no disrespect to these guys, but a bunch of veteran running backs who are past their prime, who some might even go as far to say they're washed up. You just wish Tyson Williams would get more opportunities, but at this point it's pretty much done. It's pretty much done. I don't think at this point that they're gonna try to force Tyson in too much longer now, because look, now rumors are popping up, circulating, saying that the Ravens are being contacted by teams about trading for a running back. That's not news that I think was put out just by accident. I think that was purposely put out because they're trying to drive Tyson's stock up, and Tyson's the running back that these teams are going after. There's no doubt in my mind. There would be no reason for any of these teams to be looking for an aging Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray. There would be no reason for a team who's looking to trade for a running back to reach out to Tyson. Obviously, I mean, not Tyson, to reach out to the Ravens for, any of the other guys. They're obviously reaching out for Tyson. Tyson's a young dude who, still look like he has, he has a lot of potential. Even if you feel that he might not be the best blocker yet, I mean, he could work on that. As far as his ability, his ability to run the ball, and I believe he's an underrated guy. Even if you don't want to put him as your starter, I think he would be a really solid backup running back. But it is what it is, man. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, as far as receiving goes, nobody really had a big game because, again, we didn't have too many passing yards in this game. But, Mark Andrews had 68 yards. Hollywood had 35. Rashad Bateman in his debut had 4 catches for 29 yards. Devin Duvernay got a couple catches. Miles Boykin got one. Josh Oliver, Latavius Murray. Mark Andrews got the only touchdown of the day. Again, Hollywood could have had a touchdown, but he dropped it. It is what it is. Just got to come back stronger next week. But Rashad Bateman in his debut, he got a decent amount of attention, man. That was really interesting. He got 6 targets. He caught 4 of them for 29 yards, so that's not bad. But, the problem is the 2 targets that he didn't get were both intercepted, which makes you almost think that, dang, man, maybe Lamar's trying to force the ball over to Rashad, or maybe the offensive, maybe Greg Roman and all the people responsible for play calling, maybe they're trying to force Rashad the ball. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think that's necessarily what's happening, but I think that when 2 of the targets that were aimed for Rashad became picks, I think people might start saying that that's the case. Now, one of those picks, again, was not Rashad's fault. Lamar just made a bad throw. It was just a bad decision. But the second one, that was Rashad Bateman's fault. He had it. It just slipped out of his hands, and next thing you know, before it could hit the ground, the Chargers defender got it, and that was that. But still, still not a bad debut for Rashad. I mean, at the end of the day, he got, he caught 4 out of his 6 targets. He didn't have too many yards, but again, none of the players did, because we didn't throw as many passes as we have in previous games. So it is what it is. The Chargers have a pretty good passing defense. So, and then they have a terrible running defense. So it's no surprise to me that in this game we ended up just choosing to just really just keep it on the ground and just just keep rushing and rushing and rushing. So all in all, Justin Tucker, He made Justin Tucker made a couple field goals. Yeah, he was 2 for 2, and including a 52-yard field goal. Devin Duvernay. I did not realize that Devin Duvernay was like the NFL's like leading punt returner right now. I think he has like the most yards, or is averaging the most yards right now on punt returns. So that's pretty cool. I would love to see Devin Duvernay, make the Pro Bowl for being like a special teams guy. Yeah. So Josh Bynes had a really solid game. He got 6 tackles, 3 solo tackles, which was really, really good for him, but kind of embarrassing for Patrick Queen, because I think Patrick Queen left with an injury. And now when Josh Bynes and when players like Josh Bynes come in, or Chris Board come in, and they're playing and they're doing a better job of tackling people, or making their presence felt than Patrick Queen has done in previous games, which isn't, again, Patrick Queen, isn't this like his second season or something? Like, so I still think there's a lot of potential there. I don't think people should give up on him. As it feels like a lot of people in the Ravens flock, they're very impatient with him. I don't think we should give up on him that quickly, because I think this is like his second or third season. But but still, again, with Josh Bynes just coming in, having a solid game, it's not the best look, because now it's starting to make people it's making Ravens fans look at you and say, hey, maybe we should bench him and put the other guy to the side, put the other guy in here. But at the same time, Josh Bynes is 32, whereas Patrick Queen is like, how old is Patrick Queen? Like 20, 24? Like he can't be that old, because I know Patrick Queen was just drafted like 2 years ago or something like that. But yeah, not even 24. Like, Patrick Queen's only 22 years old. He's only 22 years old. So I do think it's a little early to say that we should just give up on him. But I guess it's a more complicated conversation, because I think a lot of people are saying we should give up on him because they're thinking about winning right now, which makes sense, because again, we're in a position where we need to win right now, right? Or we want to win right now. Like, we are in the perfect Super Bowl window right now. Like, look, the Chiefs, they're looking, look, everybody, now that we've beaten the Chiefs, everybody's feeling confident to beat them now. All of a sudden, everybody's feeling confident enough to get the job done now that we beat them. So obviously, we could definitely take advantage of what's happening right now. I mean, the Bucs are looking good in the NFC, but so are the Cowboys, so are the Cardinals. So we don't know what's going to go on with that. But in the AFC, I mean, despite all our injuries, we are killing it right now. We're 5-1 right now. We are right within reach of the number 1 spot in the AFC. So if the Bills lose tonight, we'll officially have that spot. So I think this is a great Super Bowl opportunity. I've been saying that, even with the injuries, like, we have a shot. So I think I understand why people are a little impatient with Patrick Queen, because they might feel like, okay, we got to really try to get this done now, and he's not ready. But I don't know. I feel a little conflicted on that, because, like, I don't know if it's it might be a little too early to give up on him. But either way, this was a great team win. I was really satisfied with it. It was the first real win this year where I was like watching, you could watch comfortably. Even in the Broncos game, it didn't 100% feel all that comfortable, even though, we won that game by 16. Like, and then so many other games we played this season, it came down to the wire. So to have a game like this against a team so good that we just completely shut down, it feels really, really good. And I think this is great momentum going into this Bengals game. Again, Lamar Jackson is undefeated against the Bengals, so I'm expecting that to continue. But again, we'll see. You know, let me know what your thoughts are on this game in the comment section below. Was there anything that stood out to you? Was there any player that stood out to you? You know, like, and also, what do you think we're gonna do next week against the Bengals? Make sure you guys like and subscribe.